Got a big old Salem Hemisphere. You see, we already started tearing the roof off. They got ahead of me a little bit, but it's got your typical die-core on here. Put more on, more on. And then look at that big old gap right there. They tried to bridge it with that heavy-duty drywall tape. That ought to work. So, and down here doesn't look like there's too much caulking on here. You see all these little crevices. That's what they want you to do, is keep putting more on, more on. These things, when you put more on here, it's just going to leak. So you can see all the fractures in it. It's because the UV light has broken that down. So why is a product being put on a roof that can't handle UV light? That's die-core for you. They will sit here and they exploit people's ignorance to roof systems. And they know this doesn't work, but at 15, whatever it is, maybe 14, 15 bucks a tube, it's their cash cow. And they're not going to tell you it doesn't work. So we do have some nails in here. So we're going to pop this loose afterwards and see what's going on underneath. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to redeck it, but who knows? It depends on how easy it comes up. But I do want to check the wires coming up through here, and we'll end up replacing this gasket right here too. This is one of those, it snaps in, but the water gets down in that track right there, and it'll travel all the way down, and a lot of times it'll go into the wall down there, and it'll rot out the back wall. I can't remember what year this is. I'll find out. But this here, the bigger problem that it had was, I think it got clipped somewhere. Yeah, here it is up here. That's why we're putting a roof on it. Walk down to this away right here. So we just had that patch on there. But look at all this goo gobber on here. Hey, there's another leak right there. And then, you know, when we take this off them, sometimes they'll paint over a lot of this stuff, but it may stain it, so the original color may not be underneath there. It may be more like that color, that grayish. And if it is, then you know, we'll do the best we can. Sometimes we'll just make a big wide strike just so it just blends in, that's all. But you can see we got some more leaks right here, all the way up that whole line there. And again, that's all they want you to do, is put more on, more on. And so this is from the tape underneath there. So that's that joint right there. So, but anyhow, we're going to tear this all off. Obviously, you can see how much we got. So typically what we do is we just come around. I just want to cut everything, get the roofing off. And when I get the roofing off, then I can tell what's going on underneath it to see if it needs any decking or anything like that. So just give me a head start if I need to go fetch some materials or whatever. So then we'll end up marking out where all our stuff is. But otherwise, this is about what she is. I'll give you a quick go around on the other side. But it's the deck looks pretty well. It looks pretty well. It looks like they put the proper side down. So like I said, we may do it. If you have numbers and everything up on that side, when they press all this OSB together, it goes in this massive press and it just squashes it. When it does, they usually put a wax on that plate that they use to squash it together with, and what it does is it leaves that wax film on the side. So a lot of people think it's a smooth side. It's really not. It's just been packed in that, like you said, the wax is on there. So anyhow, that's you want to see the lines and everything. You should have the rough side up, is what I'm getting at. So it doesn't look like there's too much caulking in here. No, we just there pulled it off. There isn't very much caulking on there, so you get water down. So if you get one of these, you know, get up here and inspect all yours as well. So that's what we're trying to do, is tear it all apart. Check your window. There's no caulking on the top of this window. You get water going down in that window. So, but that's about us in our hemisphere. Let us get to work, tear this off, and see what's going on with it. Going on for every truss and everything, and this is not going to get a redeck, so we're restapling everything down. Alright, we are done, which is probably not what you want to hear. Alright, normally when I go over these, you know, we show us laying the roof down and all this stuff. Now this roof, we were short-handed, get 2 guys out, so it was real hard to get some stuff done. But this roof was not your typical, how we usually lay it, glue it, roll it. If you watch other videos, that's the way we do it. Not this one. If you look at this roof, if I can show on the camera, it goes up again, but it's a little, so it kind of goes up and then it teeters down, and then it goes up again over there by that front air conditioner right there. And we had to glue for about 4 feet at a time, 5 feet at a time, and then we had to get that seated, then do another, then do another, then do another. We glued this thing literally probably 8 times. So that's what took up all the time, and I just couldn't get a camera on it. But what we did do is pop up all the edging. We popped all the edging up, tried to check it for wires. We didn't find any wires at all, actually. They all must be inside, didn't see any, because this was not a redeck. So we did all that, and then obviously seated it back down and got all our buffer strips on there, which you probably faintly see, like one right here. There's a couple more you can see. So we've got everything all welded in. Just keep in mind, these are not DIY videos. We put them together just so the customer can see all the work we did. But in this case, because of the only thing he'd ever see anyways would just be us popping up loose the edges, but there's nothing there to even show. So, but we've got the plumbing welded in on both sides. We've got our vents, all that's all welded in. Even, you know, we got the boots down here. We got our stands on the air conditioner and another boot. This thing had like 5 plumbing on here. That was the most I've ever seen. The last one we did, it was a mobile suites, had 1 plumbing. So we had to do this Winegard Air 360. So what we did on this is there is a way you can put Wi-Fi to that. We didn't hook up the Wi-Fi, but we did hook up the antenna. So what we did is I made that nice curb so it looks like it belongs there, but the owner may want to possibly get that Wi-Fi going. So if he does, all he has to do is lift that up. There's a hole in there. He'll see the wires. Then he can drill down into the ceiling and or dig into the ceiling, however he wants. But there's plenty for him. Even if he had to make that hole that we made, if he had to make it bigger, it's okay because he could still seal it, right? So we, like I said, we don't. That has all this Wi-Fi modems, and it's got to go back to this and that, and that's just more than we need to really get into and try to chase all that. That's for sure. So we wanted to put on these new vents. Those are kind of cool looking. They got the covers with them, I guess, so you still should be able to open those up in the rain, from what I understand. Got our radio in here with our boots. That's all filled up, so that can't leak. Plumbing. Got our skylight. So getting back to the air conditioner, on here you see we got this counter flash around the front, which dips down. There's a piece of counter flash right there, and it goes down past that, so it'll shoot the water out there. There's a foam gasket up inside, and we don't want any water getting in this way and the wind blowing it into that gasket. We seal the gaskets. I do not recommend you to seal the gaskets because they say do not do them. So if you're watching it, you're like, hey, that's good. You can't seal them with just everything. It has to be compatible with that. And if you ever open up the instructions, it'll tell you do not seal them down. But we seal them down because I don't want it to leak, period. I don't trust them. There's a lot of things the RV industry tells you what to do, and it's not always right or prudent. So we've got 2 strikes all along here. We've got new insert trim right in here, so we put all that in. So now what we're going to do is we are going to stretch the scaffold apart, and I'm going to just inspect the slide out, make sure it's sealed right in here where this piece mounts to the roof. They usually put a piece of tape. I just want to see if it's sealed okay. And then we checked everything else to see if it was sealed. If it looked compromised, then we gave it another lick. Make sure it was clean it out and give it another lick. But and we're going to do that. When we open this up, we'll double check in there. Because it's so tight, I got a gasket in there that's holding me. So again, those are some of the things we'll check out. I figure I would hate for a customer to call me up and say, hey, I got a leak, and they come back and, well, really, you didn't have a leak from us. It was coming from down here. So if it's something I can do real quick, I don't mind doing it. But like I said, this is, sorry for being a short video that it is. But like I said, there was just so much work. So we got all the way down here. See all this? So you got all this margin for error. You got here. And then this one tears off. And then it starts to kind of ramp up a little bit. So that's a problem. So this is a structured membrane. This isn't that cheap rubber. So it really only likes to lay 2-dimensionally, not 3. So you've got this margin for error coming up because you got camber. So you've already got it sloping, you got camber. So you got that. Then it comes up here. Here's another segment. It's cambered and it's sloping again. Then you got more of a slope right here. When you come up here, you got yet just a shade more of a slope when you get past the air conditioner. So we had all this going, but I want to tuck it up underneath the turn bar up in the front. So when we tried to get all that, it was getting squirrely and we weren't able to get it. So we had to put another piece in here, and then I welded. This is all welded up 4 inches of weld on here, so it's not going to go anywhere, that's for sure. But that was the only thing we could do with this thing. We ran clear on here because if we put black, it doesn't match anything, and I just thought it would look bad. We put clear on the other side, then you can see we put black here. I just wanted it to look clean. And But otherwise, let me change the skylight lens, because that was all just an acrylic piece of junk. So those acrylics will tend to crack. You know, if you go up to them and you, that one's a good strong acrylic one. The other ones you can push on them like a bubble, and they'll indent on you. So, but anyhow, that's what we got here. So let us slide the scaffold apart. If there's something else that I need to show you, I will. But otherwise, thanks for watching. And like I said, keep in mind, these aren't DIY videos. There's a lot of work that goes into these, and guys think they can do all this stuff. And I'm not trying to say anybody doesn't have the ability, but I've had a lot of guys come through this shop claiming they have years of experience doing construction, doing this, doing that, and it's all the little things. I'm sure somebody go in here and rip it up, put a new deck down. They probably could do that, because all you do is glue it down, fasten it down. All the other little details that matter when you pull all this together. And if you're not careful, that one little detail that you missed is going to be a leak, and it could be a problem. It will be a problem. Not could be, it will be a problem. So, and again, that's why we say they're not DIY videos. We have certain products we use, and you know, we know what it's going to take to pull it together. And if you even going on that line, if you use the wrong product, you do everything right, you use the wrong product, you use the wrong fastener, you use the wrong application, you're going to have a leak. So like I said, there's a lot of guys that come through this shop that just can't cut it, because I have to get on them and say, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, and they claim that I'm micromanaging them. But customers don't pay us for half-ass work, plain and simple. They don't. So if I got to throw a guy out of the shop because we got to get it right, then I'll do that. The customer is what matters, and I want it done 100% right. And I've had times where guys have done something, and I'll have to take it apart and put it back together. It's just the way it is. But I'm not going to let it roll out that way. It's going to get fixed, and it's going to go out correctly before it does. So, but again, we appreciate you watching. So there's our date right here, RVRI, November 20th. Yahoo! We are done. Thanks again for watching.